Holly. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Purpose, where we're talking about just that. What's our reason for being on this earth? Why are we even here? Well, if you've been following along with me, you know what I think. I think there's two reasons that we're on this planet. Number one, to love God. Number two, to love each other. Well, that's tough to do. It's tough to love somebody that you can't see and you can't talk to. And it's hard to love people sometimes. You know, I don't even like everybody. How am I supposed to love them? Well, God knew this was going to be tough. He gave us directions. He gave us the Bible. There's lots of ways for us to get to know God better. Thousands and thousands of ways to get to know Him. There's prayers. There's formal prayers that have been written for thousands of years that people have been reciting. We can say those prayers. Great way to get closer to God. We can go to church. Great way to get closer to God. If you're Catholic, you can go to adoration and sit with God in church. There's thousands of things we can do. But I think the number one way to get to know God better is to talk to Him. Spend time with Him all throughout your day. Whatever you're doing, invite Jesus to join you. Ask Him to be with you. Ask Him to touch your heart and to teach you how to love Him and to teach you how to love other people. And just hang out with Him, you know? And one of the toughest things you can do is tell Jesus no matter what you're doing in your day, you trust Him. You have faith in Him. That no matter how it turns out, even if it doesn't turn out the way we want it to, that you'll be okay because you know He's with you. So just talk to Him all throughout your day. Tell Him what you're doing. Tell Him what your hopes are, your plans, your dreams, what's making you mad, and ask Him to help you. That's the best way to get to know and love God. Well, we left off on Genesis chapter 32, verse 3. So Jacob, Isaac and Rebekah's boy, Jacob, he had left home because his brother Esau was about to kill him, and he ran to Uncle Laban's house to stay with him. The reason Esau was going to kill him is because he stole his inheritance. Esau was the oldest son. He was supposed to get the inheritance, but Jacob snuck in there, tricked his dad, and stole it. And so Esau wasn't happy with him, and he wanted to kill him. Well, now Jacob's ready to go back home. He's ready to go back to the land of Canaan. He's ready to get back to God. He's going home to get back to God, and he's getting closer to God as he gets older. But he's scared to death that Esau's still going to kill him. So he sent some messengers on up ahead to find Esau and say, hey, your brother Jacob's coming home, and he's really hoping that everything's good between the two of you. And so the messengers came back and they said, yep, we found Esau. He's coming to see you. And he's bringing 400 men with him. Oh! Jacob doesn't know what that's about. I mean, would you bring 400 men with you if you're just coming to say, hey, how you doing, brother? No, you bring 400 men when you're fixing to fight somebody. That's what Jacob's thinking. So Jacob got a plan. He had tons of sheep and cattle and goats and pigs and pigs. I don't know about pigs, but goats and sheep. He had all this livestock, all this stuff. And he took a bunch of it and he was going to give it to Esau as a gift to try to soften him up a little bit, to get him to not be mad at him. That's what I'd do too. Only he didn't want to give him this big gift all at once. He split it into like three little gifts, little sections. So the first wave went to Esau and said, oh, this is from your brother Jacob, and it's a bunch of goats and sheep and cattle. And Esau's still headed towards Jacob. Jacob sends in the second wave, all these goats and sheep, and gave him another gift. This is from your brother Jacob. And then a third wave goes in and meets Esau and gives him a bunch of gifts. This is from your brother Jacob. He loves you. So he's trying to soften Esau up. Will it work? I don't know. But the night before he was to meet Esau, he was scared. He's thinking there's 400 warriors coming to kill me. And he didn't want his family to get hurt, you know? So he decided to split them up so that if there was a fight and some of them were killed, maybe somebody could survive. So he decided to split them up. And that night, when he went to bed, before he went to bed, he put his wives, Rachel and Leah, on one side of a river and all the kids, and he went to the other side, and he was by himself, which is probably pretty rare for Jacob because he's got tons of servants and people. But he was all alone, and he was wrestling with this mysterious, strange man. Could have been God, could have been an angel, who knows? But he's wrestling with this mysterious person. I like to think it was an angel. It could have been God. Doesn't matter. It's a holy person. And they're rolling around on the ground, and it's a serious fight. Jacob's hip gets dislocated. This is a serious fight. And they're rolling around wrestling all night long, and the sun's coming up, and this angel or man finally says, "What do you want, Jacob?" And Jacob said, "I want a blessing." He wanted a blessing. He never got a blessing from his dad, Isaac. Well, he did, but it didn't belong to him. He got the blessing that was meant for Esau. He stole Esau's blessing. He never got it. And he's feeling guilty. All these last 20-some years he's been gone, he's feeling guilty that he didn't deserve the blessing that he got. He doesn't deserve all the good things that have happened to him because he kind of cheated to get it. And he's feeling bad. And he's sorry for it. And he's repenting. He's telling God he's sorry. Happens to me all the time. I feel guilty about all kinds of stuff. You tell God you're sorry. You mean it. And then you let that stuff go. You can't hang on to it forever and let it eat you up. When you apologize to God and you mean it in your heart, He forgives you and it's done. Let it go. Quit wrestling with God over it. We wrestle with God all the time. At least I do. Anything that's bugging you. If you've got stress at work, stress in your family, stress with friends, money, stress, whatever stress or anxiety is in your life, that's an area you're not happy with, and you're probably not trusting God with that area, and you're wrestling with Him. You're saying, oh, if only I had a new car, if only I had more money, if only I had a boyfriend or a girlfriend or children or a bigger house or more clothes, whatever, different job, whatever, if only I had. And you're not happy right where you are. And we're wrestling with God there. Oh, I need this, God, I need this, God. And it's okay to pray to God for things, nothing wrong with that. But we need to be grateful for what we've got and be happy right where we are. So that's just my thought for whatever it's worth. So the next day, when the sun was coming up and the angel said, "What do you want from me?" And Jacob said he wanted the blessing. He wanted forgiveness. You know, we have to tell God we're sorry when we mess up. The only sin that can't be forgiven is the one that we don't say we're sorry for. Every other sin can be forgiven. When that happened, the angel said, "What's your name?" And he said, "Jacob." And the angel or the man, whoever he was, said, "Not anymore, buddy. From now on, you are named Israel." Another name change in the Bible. I think God changed Jacob's name to Israel because he wasn't the same person. He's a new man. He is not the same Jacob that went to Uncle Laban's house running for his life because he lied and he cheated and he stole. Now he's sorry for what he's done. He wants to make up for it, and he wants to get closer to God. And so he's got a new name. Well, it's the next morning. Jacob's scared. He doesn't know if a big fight's coming. So he splits everybody up and hopes that somebody will live. He puts the maids and their kids, you know, Jacob's kids with the maids, out front. Then he's got Leah and his kids with her. And then he's got his other wife, Rachel, in the very back with Joseph. who he loves the most. He loves Rachel and Joseph the most, which you'd think he would have learned from his mom and dad. That never ends well. And so they're headed to meet Esau, and he had to see him coming. You know, there'd be a big dust cloud. You're in the desert, 400 people marching. It had to be a sight to see, and he's got to be shaking in his boots and like, I trust you, God. I trust you, God. I trust you, God. And, you know, really pretty scared, because sometimes we say, I trust you, God, but we don't know how this is going to turn out. And he didn't know how this was going to turn out. But he knew he had faith in God, that no matter what happened, he'd be all right. And so he meets Esau, and Esau comes running at him with his arms outstretched, and he gives Jacob a big hug, and he's crying, and Jacob's crying, and it's a hallmark moment. Esau has found God. Esau has grown up. He's not the playboy that he used to be. He's not the selfish guy he used to be. He's forgiven Jacob. He's found God. He's ready to move on and let Jacob back into his life. Yay, the brothers are back together again. And then he's like, what's up with all these gifts? And Jacob was like, oh, I want you to have those. I've got a lot of stuff. I want you to have them. And Esau, the selfish playboy who was only looking out for number one, said, I have more than enough. I don't need anything else. You keep your stuff. And Jacob was like, no, I want you to have it. So the brothers are finding God. They're thinking of each other, and they're not just out for themselves anymore. And then Esau says, come on, brother, let's go home. And Jacob was like, I've got these wives and these little kids and all the livestock. I better go slow with them. You go on ahead and I'll meet you there. And so he's being humble, letting Esau go ahead of him. You know, he's not trying to charge on ahead first. And Esau went on home, and Jacob was thinking about the people who he's in charge of, you know, his wives and his kids and all his servants. And he wanted to look out for them and make sure they were okay. It's not all about him anymore. So we've seen Jacob and Esau grow into loving, kind, generous men who are getting closer to God, who are learning more about God. And the more we learn about God, the happier we're going to be, and the more at peace we'll be. So Jacob finally made it to the land of Canaan, and he bought some land in Shechem by a man named Hamor. He bought some land from the sons of Hamor in the land of Shechem. And will he live happily ever after? Will he finally get his peace and live out his old age in Shechem? I don't know. We'll find out. Well, I hope if you're wrestling with God about anything, something that you've done in your past that you're sorry for, something that you've got stress about, tell him you're sorry for whatever you've done wrong. And if you're just anxious or stressed about something, tell Jesus that you're giving it to him, and you trust him that you'll be okay no matter how it turns out. You might have to say that 27,000 times in a day, but you keep saying that. I give this to you, Lord, and I trust you that no matter how it turns out, I'll be okay. And you will find more peace in your life. Yeah, you might not be skipping through a field of flowers, but you're going to have more peace. Try it. Can't hurt anything. And you're going to get closer to God in the process. Well, when we come back next time, we'll find out what's happening to Jacob and those kids of his. I hope you have a great day today, everybody. Bye-bye.